I do have Brendan Schaub.
Yeah.
And I think, guys, can you help me out? Because I know my MMA to an extent, but sometimes it's hard to put names with faces. That's Frank Mir, correct?
One of these two is Frank Mir. The other, yes, I believe that's Frank Mir,
okay.
And that is Jesse on Fire.
Now, did you know that just because you know what those two look like, or did you see something else with those two in it?
I have done both, actually.
You would have known that that's Frank Mir just from looking at him?
I got a little put onto them by Unique, actually. Because
Okay.
Unique was doing this thing where he's been in contact with this Jesse on Fire character, where Jesse on Fire was going to be in the presence of Brendan Schaub on this podcast, correct?
Yeah.
And then he was pretty much giving him a deal like, hey, I'm going to make Brendan talk about you while I'm on the podcast.
I don't know who Jesse on Fire is. What does he do?
I don't know.
Is he like an MMA guy?
He was in contact with Unique. That's all
Okay.
That's my introduction to him.
I do know Frank Mir, but I don't remember him being this big. So he must have gotten bigger as the years went on. But anyway, Frank Mir was on Brendan's show. And God damn it, I don't know if this is Frank Mir's fault or Brendan Schaub's fault. Because I'm not expecting Frank Mir to really know Brendan Schaub that well. I feel like Frank Mir was an MMA guy before Brendan Schaub came around.
I would think so.
In MMA and was, getting knocked out by everybody.
He looks older than Brendan.
Last time I saw Frank Mir, he was getting knocked out by Kubrat Pulev in a boxing match. And with no shame in that. Kubrat Pulev, I think, is still probably a top 15 heavyweight. And he got knocked out by him like 3 years ago. Well, Brendan was interviewing Frank Mir, and Frank should know that Brendan Schaub is incapable of having any discussions that's above a 8th grade level.
I know.
And
Brendan's like Christmas for me.
Yes, and Frank Mir decided that he would open up to Brendan about his painkiller addiction.
Oh.
Which Brendan doesn't know how to handle normal, human, serious conversations. He feels like he has to shoehorn a joke in. Brendan is an open micer. I know he does touring comedy shows and all of that stuff, but in skill-wise and experience-wise, he got the Joe Rogan blessing, so he got to jump the line. Mm-hmm. But in terms of quality, when you watch him, Brendan's an open micer. That's all he is, and he might be better than that someday if he went back and started doing open mics and started working on actually becoming a comic instead of getting the Joe Rogan easy pass and going to the front of the line. So open micers have this, we call it open micer energy.
Yeah, yep.
Where
absolutely
you have to have a laugh all the time. You got to go in there and be a wacky class clown all the time. You can't just let things sit there for a little bit. I think that's why Brendan surrounds himself with Mark Harley, because it does make Brendan look smart.
Okay.
Mark is such a dumb dip fuck that doesn't know how to be funny that he makes Brendan look better.
He has like the least amount of brain cells you need to operate.
Right. So Brendan's an open micer, and I almost don't blame him for that because, again, he got the Joe Rogan easy pass. But he's talking to Frank Mir, and I watched this, and even I was embarrassed.
Probably wasn't the best idea. So.
Dude, one of my favorite moments ever from anyone's career was in yours when you kicked the pills, and you said beforehand where you were like, I'm fucking bad, because I knew what that's like, and I was like, I could just see, I was like,
prescription pills.
So now Brendan feels left out of the conversation because these two are talking about their prescription pill problem.
Brendan has to zorb all the kratom shots so he can speak. He doesn't know about pills.
That's true. He needs to take all the happy hippo kratom the pink lemonade kratom shots, so he can think properly.
Like that's
struggled bad. Yeah, like I remember looking at you in the interview.
You know what though? And
do you still have them?
What? No, I avoid them like the plague. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Brendan.
I know you're trying to do what you think is funny, Brendan, but the guy's trying to relay a story to you about how he kicked prescription pills and then went and fought. That's an interesting story that most listeners would love to hear. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't help but get in your own way because you had to make either a dumb fucking joke or you're just that stupid that you don't get it.
Did you hear what he said even before that question? He said, "Oh, I like them myself."
Yeah. Well,
that's not the thing you say to the recovering pill addict.
These two were talking about kicking pills, so Brendan felt left out. Now, a host who's comfortable in his skill level and who knows how to do a good show will let those two keep going. I will admit this. I learned this, full credit, from Opie. And Opie actually forgot this lesson himself. Opie always said, I don't give a shit if two guys are off in the corner of the room being funny on our show because I'm going to get the credit anyway.
You're on the show.
It's my show.
Yeah.
Opie forgot that lesson later in his career, and it broke him.
It's kind of struggled bad.
Yeah, I like it
And I
myself.
remember looking at you in the interview.
You know what though? And
Do you still have them?
what? No, I avoid them like the plague.
Yeah, me too.
But I have surgeries and stuff, so I still.
See, he's trying to do like a joke, like, yeah, me too. Right. You fucking meathead. This is an interesting moment that people would love to hear from Frank Mir. But you feel uncomfortable because you got open micer energy, and you've got to try and joke your way out of it.
Everyone loves a recovery story, and he just can't stay out of the action for a second.
He can't stay out of the spotlight.
Yeah.
For 5 fucking seconds.
You're getting the credit, the cool stories on your show.
I still have a lot. I'd be lying to you to say that I haven't.
And now look at Brendan dropped his chin and got all sad because his joke went nowhere, and now they're just having the conversation without him. He's embarrassed now, which is nice.
He looks unwell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
But like, it's a battle constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because also too, I live in a world where surgeries, injuries. You have a doctor go, hey man, like if you want to sleep tonight, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do?
We just replaced your neck.
Yeah, or you know what I mean? Go to Disneyland with the kids. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there going, well, I can.
You know what else is funny? Frank, I think, kind of caught on to what a dipshit Brendan is. Notice he's only looking at Jesse while he talks about this.
I did pick up on that.
Frank is like, this fucking idiot. Here, I'll talk to you.
His whole body language is shifted away from Brendan.
Yeah.
You know,
Be miserable
I don't
and walk
want a
around the stupid
fucking
park.
wheelchair
Yeah.
pushing.
He's now ignoring Brendan. By the end of this clip, he's fucking ignoring Brendan Schaub because he's like, this retarded 18-year-old kid is just going to keep saying dumb shit all the
Brendan
time.
literally went from saying, "Oh, I love those pills too. You still have them?" No, dude, I can't have them.
No, what part of I'm a pill
And
addict don't you understand,
like,
you open mic hack?
I avoid them like the plague. Oh yeah, me too. I don't like them anymore.
Then tried to do a funny joke. Like,
After you just said you love them.
Replaced your neck.
Yeah, or you know what I mean? Go to Disneyland with the kids. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there going, well, I can, you know,
Be miserable
I don't
and walk
want a
around the stupid
fucking
park.
wheelchair
Yeah.
pushing me around. I refuse to be in a scooter. So then I'm sitting there like on a cane. I'm sitting there going, and then my personality. Then it's like, well, I'm a miserable asshole right now.
So there you go. Brendan kept trying to interject himself when all he needed to do was back off and let Frank Mir talk.
Just let the story unfold.
Yeah, he just couldn't do it. Rupert, thank you for the $4.99. He says, look, April is dressed up for Halloween. She's going to be the big orange pumpkin from Snoopy.
Thank you, Rupert. Thank you.
Rupert says, I do have to apologize to April. I've been very mean. I like you. It's the only reason I picked
I
on
like you too, Rupert. It's fine.
They're saying Mir fought Lesnar. Oh, no, I'm aware of that. I was a big Brock Lesnar fan. He fought Lesnar twice. Beat Lesnar in Lesnar's second UFC fight ever. And then when Lesnar won the title, he then defended it against Mir and beat the living shit out of him. So there is that.
Yeah.
Jeep ZJ says Mir and that Jesse guy are also terrible, by the way. Everything I've seen of Frank Mir, I've been okay with him.
I don't know anything about Jesse on Fire except that he made promises to Unique, and I don't know if he delivered on them.
Frank would demolish Brendan. Yeah, even like at his advanced age, like Frank Mir still looks like a fucking problem. He's cranky from not being on pills.
Right. But like he said, like I've had to have surgeries and shit, and do you know how hard that is? Because I've had surgeries too. They fucking just hand you any drug that works for you. Percocets, all that shit.
It's got to be hard for an addict because you have to not only like stay away from pills, but after you have something like that, you have to actively say no.
Yeah,
because they'll just give it to you as a default.
I've never found myself to be that kind of person, but I could understand how pills could be addictive. I know how good they make you feel. I think the only thing I'm addicted to is coffee, really. That's it.
You think you're addicted?
Oh,
caffeine.
Is that even a question?
Caffeine. Yeah.
It's not even about just the caffeine. That's like a process. Like I enjoy having my morning coffee. That's absolutely an addiction.
I usually really, really love doing Brendan Schaub stuff and feel like I could talk about it forever. But after all of our Tony Michaels stuff, everything else just seems
lackluster.
Yeah, it just seems like the party ended and now we're trying to keep drinking, but we're getting really sleepy.
It's that like small little group of your friends left and you're all drunk and ready for bed, but you don't want to be the first one to go to bed.
Oh, sorry guys.
Hey.
Because I just want like that Tony Michaels stuff was so good. And it's one of those things where it went exactly like I wanted it to go. And that always feels nice.
Yeah.
By the way, totally expecting a text from Carl when we put out our Tony Michaels stuff tomorrow.
Aaron.
Carl will be saying,
having-
great job on Chicky McNugs.
an extramarital affair with Carl.
Can we see if Dabblers Anonymous has acquiesced to my request of Spicenberg?
Sure, we're in overtime.
Chad Zumach claims Stuttering John is an idiot. Oh, Chad just could not avoid.
That guy has like a cope for everything, I feel. And it just really almost hurts me how hard he's really trying to be in the cool kid group, but he's tried so hard that he's off-putting to everyone.
We have some Chad clips for tomorrow's show.
I know, I heard.
And Frank wrote me today and said, yeah, he went in on all of us again and then even mentioned you, but we're not the show from Minnesota anymore that he claims to know nothing about, but he knows we're married and that the show is in Minnesota. Now he says North Dakota. Even though he and I went back and forth on Twitter and I smacked him around a bunch the last couple days, now he's trying even harder to like not know, to try to do the Michael Sosnowski thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's
so
really
he switched
bad.
our states on us.
Oh, I like Stuttering John's fingernails. Why didn't we do this one? We tried to combine the catchphrases. He goes, drive in, drive out, K2.
We did miss that one.
That's a really good one.
Thank you, Mr. John's fingernails.
Stevie J says, that sweater says, I'm securely married and just not trying anymore.